Well, it's an exciting day here on Fake Chats with Andrew Burnett. I'm your host, and today I have a very special friend with me, my great friend, Joe Renshaw. How are you doing today?
I'm special, feeling really special, Andrew. Doing
Well,
good, brother.
well, brother, I tell you, every time we get the opportunity to talk, it's just a joy because I have loved your ministry ever since you came to the Carolinas Gospel Music Fest.
Yeah, seems like yesterday. Only a couple of years, right?
Yes, sir. So to start off the conversation, share with us where gospel music really came into the picture for you.
Well, it's kind of a difficult question. Um, I've been attending with my parents and my grandparents, attending the Gospel Barn over here in Hillsdale, um, which I consider to be the Gospel Barn. I mean, there's a multitude of them across the United States, but Gospel Barn in Hillsdale is a 500 seat auditorium, and it's a real hip roof barn. Beautiful place. Got basically hung out there with my grandparents more than my parents, and got to know the Wyrick families, and now it's the Wiley family. Their grandson and great grandson are running the place. Um, I've been singing in church since I was 5 years old, um, which is we won't comment on how long ago that was. Um, but yeah, through a myriad of, as in the teen years, I was smarter than God, smarter than my parents. My dad was a Methodist minister. Um, and through some life experiences and some bad life experiences, came back to uh, singing and tried that. It's been 26, 27 years ago now, and it was the right thing at the wrong time. So fast forward into my what my wife says is my last marriage, one of the many mistakes, or the prior ones, but they're learning experiences. We've been married. May will be 11 years, and at some point in time, we went to the Gospel Barn, and I'd been singing at churches here or there, and involved in our worship team at church, and then I just she said, you love it so much, why don't you do it? So I tried out for a quartet. Um, Many people have commented a few times on my music ministry page about which quartet are you with now? None of those are my choice to leave. So I'm currently singing with a quartet out of, the Pier area, Columbiaville, Michigan. And when I was let go from the one prior to that, I decided, since I had a solo project, to just run with that. Prayed about that fervently, and it's more fun to sing with a quartet than it is to sing by yourself. But the solo thing has been very, very blessing filled, and the more I push that, the more God lays things in my lap that I never dreamt of. So, love gospel music. I love music, period. I grew up on a theater stage from the age of 9. So, whether it's a show tune or, any other type of music is great. But when you sing to Him, about Him, for Him, I feel pretty unstoppable.
So, gospel music influences that have helped impact your career to what it is today, who would you say those would be?
Now, how long do you want to talk about this? uh, my number one's got to be Danny Funderburk. I'm a tenor. Um, Danny, and that's been 5 years ago now, was our featured artist for an anniversary celebration for one of the quartets I sang with. And first time I met him, I took a selfie at sound check, and have been friends with him ever since. When things changed, God changed the path, and we were uh, let go of that quartet. He was there the very next day in concert, and spoke into my ministry in a huge way, and has continued to do that. He was involved in to date, my one and only CD. He was involved in helping get that reproduced and taken care of, and just as always, he's the number one. But man, there are so many encouragers. Today's birthday is Gary Casto. Gary has been any time of the day and night a guy that's there to listen and pray and give you tips and tell you what not to do, and that's quit, and tell you what to do, and that's look to Jesus. Um, but we are so blessed with dear friends. Dave and Marnie Thurston and Monty Bishop of the Thurstons up here in Michigan. Um, Travis Davis, from when I sang 26, 27 years ago, is a dear friend and now pastors a church and has had a few of the groups that I sing with in. And he actually sang in a quartet for our fair last year when we were put in a bind. And then the other one that sang in that quartet with us is Mr. Doug Anderson, has been um, huge, huge in getting me into groups, getting me into venues, and constant encouragement. Again, any time of the day or night, and it goes both ways. We love and adore him, and he loves and takes care of us. And as of recently, um, it was about 6 weeks ago, I guess, that I learned that I am indeed Dawn's favorite Joseph in gospel music. If you don't look at her Spotify, Mr. Habedank has always been an encourager, and what a blessing his ministry is, and just a sweetheart. He and Lindsay, his wife, are great, great people. And my list could go on for the next 40 minutes probably. But those are the top of the rungs.
So, as you mentioned, December 11th, 2021 was a very special day for you as you released your first gospel project. Share with us a little bit about that.
Well, at the time, I was singing with a quartet out of the Detroit area, and they were not singing as much as I felt the call to be singing. And of course, the little old ladies that changed my diapers when I was in church, and that was a long time ago, not recently. Um, they always wanted me to do a seat. Well, of course, back then it was a tape. Do a tape. Do a tape. And it just came to the appropriate time, and I felt really led to do it. So we did a hymns project, which was supposed to be very simple, just a piano and me, and I'd sing some harmony on my own singing. And Steve Keen, that played the piano for the Hoppers, made that into a phenomenal. He had just a project that was beyond my wildest expectations. Added drums and strings and bass and guitar and a fiddler from mid-COVID, a fiddler from Nashville, and made it into what it is. And then, of course, my buddy Kyle Cornish sang some bass on some of the tracks, which, my bass is an octave higher than his bass. So it was, again, that nasty C word. I said it. Sorry to swear on your show like that. Right in the middle of that, and December 11th was scheduled at a little country church at Batavia Community Church, which is where my concerts in the winter started. It's where I attended Bible school when I was a youngin'. My aunt and uncle were pillars of that church. December 11th, I released it, and of course, Casey and them from Avenue were kind enough, and what a blessing to say, hey, you're going to release your CD. We'd like to come up and help you with that. And they gave me a date, and I already had something going for a Christmas project, and I was so depressed. And then he said, well, how about this date? And it worked out, and the rest is history. So December 11th, we had Avenue in concert at Batavia, and I released my CD. And that little country church holds about 100 people stacked like cordwood. We've outgrown it. Also, December 11th, so December 15th, my mother passed from during that nasty, uh, yeah, pandemic. And then my aunt passed 4 days later. That was the pillar of that church. My uncle, too ornery of an old farmer to give up, so he's still with us and attends many of our area concerts. So it was a special time, leading up to the concert. I got a phone call from one Danny Funderburk, telling me how much he thought of me and my ministry, and And like we say, the rest is history. So it's been December will be 3 years since that was released, and we've gone, like you said, the Carolinas, Virginia, as far north as Traverse City, Michigan, anywhere anybody will have me. Um, we travel, and we joke about my VW Golf being a tour bus, but yeah, it's been a fun and blessed time with that project.
So your project is labeled "From Care He Sets Me Free: Songs from the Heart." What are some of your favorite songs that you love on this project?
Well, the title track from Carrie Sets Me Free is a line from His Eyes on the Sparrow. Um, that one, try narrowing down. Somebody says, hey Andrew, what's your favorite hymn? You're gonna go, to narrow that book down to one hymn is darn near impossible. But that one, His Eyes on the Sparrow, after we narrowed it down, and that was one of them, I found out I've got a songbook right behind me on our family heirloom organ that my grandma Cox, my mom's mother, sang it, had all the pencil marks and everything from breathing and phrasing and that type of stuff. Of course, there's a little a cappella with all four parts being me that is Jesus Loves Me, which, plain and simple to the point, is a pretty awesome song. Um, Great is Thy Faithfulness. Those 11 songs on that CD, you can't go wrong with any of them. Tis So Sweet, Where Could I Go, There's Coming a Day, What a Day. Um, so they're all, that pretty much narrows, if I had to narrow it down from a hymnal to 11, that's pretty much what you have in that CD.
So hymns are pretty special to everybody. What would be one of the earliest hymns you remember hearing as a child?
Oh, that great is thy faithfulness. Victory in Jesus is one that they quite regularly happens at the Gospel Barn, and um I was just a little kid. The Gospel Barn and I are about the same age, so those are had to be the first. The first song I remember ever singing is actually it's actually in the Methodist hymnal, but it's "Pass It On," which is a great song. Um, those are the earliest of my memories. Of course, that was before breakfast, so.
What's one hymn that would always be special to you that always sticks out to you every time you hear it?
Any of them on that project, or "It Is Well." I mean, the backstory on that song is, uh, we all have physical, no stranger to you, physical ailments, things go on in our life that can bring us to our knees, which is where we need to be in the first place. Um, it is well to write a song like that that it will stand, we'll be singing that one in heaven. And to have that written when you've lost your livelihood, you've lost your daughters, you've lost your family, that's huge. And to say that no matter what, it is well with my soul.
And you know the amazing thing, I had never heard the backstory to that song till the other day. I was watching Amber and Nathan Kissler's memorial service, and it
Mm-hmm.
was sang there, and he explained it, what all had happened, and I'm like, wow, to be able to pick up a pen and just write that in song, what amazing.
Yeah. Um, yeah. And again, it's well, and that whole project is their whole project is wow. If you knew that was going to happen, like, we don't need to know the future. God has it, He holds it. But wow, all those things that point to help us survive and get through those things.
And that's one thing that we've been sharing on the show, that we need to keep Autumn in our prayers, because man, that was something with the Nealons. And I remember just 2 years ago, I had them at Carolina's Gospel Music Fest, and everything was great. And now we see tragedy struck. But you know what? I believe Autumn's going to be strong, and she's going to carry out that family legacy.
Yeah. And how many? any of the greats that have left, you know, either via tragedy or of old age. You know, the impact they make on us. Now we were talking about that because, of course, anybody says, "Oh, I love this gospel group," and I say, "Yeah, we know them." Well, you know, the Nealons, we didn't make it down there in time to meet them, much to our chagrin, because that was they did. They impacted people. They were encouragers, um, very anointed. So there's no doubt where they're at. There's no doubt that that young lady is going to be okay. Um, you know, or your heart goes out to them. You shed a tear for her just the same. But yeah, any of those folks, any of the folks that live what they sing.
And I could only imagine when they stepped foot in the presence of the Lord, like they just started singing right over again. But it was a brand new song that we don't even know here.
Yeah, yeah. And there you go with a good song there. I can only imagine that really just, I know it's not Southern gospel, but it's, yeah, it's beyond our wildest imagination and dreams. It's, you know, I think sometimes when we lose people, we tend to cry a little bit out of jealousy because you can't compete with being in the presence of God and no more pain, no more night, no more darkness, no more parting. You know, what a day that will be.
Just to be able to throw the crowns at the feet of Jesus. That's something that we all should be ready for at any moment, at any time. You know, I told somebody the other day, I don't have any earthly bags packed, but I'm ready to go. There's nothing that's going to hold me back. When that trumpet sounds, I'm out of here.
Yeah, we've amen to that. I a couple of times, and what I don't think it's quite sacrilegious. A couple of times, you know, last year in August, when God changed my path with a quartet that I was really having a good time with, and felt we were blessing people, and all of a sudden I'm not a part of that anymore, and I'm on the hook for an August service. Um, Again, you take it to heart and you go, oh, what am I going to do? Instead of, you know, thinking and going, oh, wait, what is God going to do next? And to have my next thing, and we've done it once since that August, uh, to have Doug say, hey, Harmon and I will come up and you just need to find two other guys and we'll just sing old quartet classics. And just so happened that the two guys I sang with 25 plus years ago were available. And so you just basically, for a fair concert, all we did was hang around the piano with Harmon and Doug and sing old hymns. And to 200 and some of our closest friends, and they absolutely loved it. And I said, well, just so long as God lets me live to see that singing with Doug. And he did, and what a blessing it was. And some of the things that are going on in my ministry right now, I still pinch myself and go, wait a minute, me? God? Why? And it's all
So,
good. It's all good.
so what are some of those upcoming things that's coming up for your ministry?
Well, every time I think, you know, because I'd love to be, I'm no spring chicken and I'm a diabetic of many, many years and all the things that go along with that. Um, Doug Anderson told me, he says, be careful what you pray for. And I prayed to be as busy as God could possibly make me and still keep up.
I lost you there. All right, you're back. Yep.
Okay. Got to be smarter in what I'm working with. Um, so be careful what you pray for. God has up through July. We took kind of a reprieve. My day job takes a break at the July 4th shutdown in the RV world, and we kind of stepped back. And it's actually higher than I can count, so I had to have help. But I sang 36 different occasions. Some of them including some 700 and 800 miles, which to full time people it's nothing. But I work Monday through Friday. Um, Trips like that are not an everyday occurrence, and it doesn't isn't spread out over anything but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, and then it's back at 4:30 a.m. up Monday morning. Um, so we're busy. Um, Big things through a long story I won't even go into. I am opening for Anthem Edition on September 13th down in Lafayette, Indiana, and we've heard them before, and a great bunch of guys. Resurrection Ministries does a great concert series down there, and I get to open for Anthem Edition. Um, I had been working towards. We have an 1800s theater that I grew up in theater on this stage. Been working on getting some gospel music back in there. They have a lot of different classical and jazz and tribute bands. And right in the middle of trying to make that happen, I get a message from an artist that says, "Hey, would you and Dawn be able to host me in a concert in Kalamazoo?" I said, "Well, we're in Coldwater, but we'll see what we can do and we'll pray about it and go from there." So, October 26th, we host Joseph Habedank in Kalamazoo. And then I assumed he had somebody to open. I said, "So and so is opening for you." He says, "No, I want you to. What you
Wow.
gonna say to Mr. Habedank?" Yes, let me think about that for a nanosecond, and then said yes. So that's going on. Of course, our winter concert series goes when the Gospel Barn is closed. We have that once a month, and very blessed to be singing with these guys out of Upper Michigan, Lapeer, Michigan, Joyful Sounds Quartet. They're going to be opening up, and that also that December 14th date is going to be a CD release for my second CD, which I still can't figure out why I'm hallucinating and seeing things that I'm not seeing, but it will be recorded in Nashville, Tennessee, September 12th. We go down and I get to meet the musicians and experience that whole thing. They record their music. I will go down about a month later and do vocals. And this is also got, this is not hymns. This is not previously released material. And I am not a songwriter, so I didn't know how that works. But we have 10 or 11 songs. One of them will be a hymn because I can't not do a hymn. But they are original music written by some of the most awarded and talented, blessed writers in gospel music. My title track, which I'm not divulging the name of, was co written by Rodney Griffin and Jim Brady. And at this point, Mr. Brady is going to be singing some harmony with me on that. Um, there's also a quartet sounding song that I'm working on putting a scrap iron quartet together, and have a buddy that I would have loved to sing with 30 years ago that's going to do me the favor of singing baritone. Sang with a group out of Holt Cavaliers Quartet. My bass, you probably have never heard a tribute quartet, but or Ian Owens, but he's going to grace us with our presence, and I'm working on the others, but just I'm still shaking my head trying to figure out how this has happened, but but God. Um, Mark Forrester is doing the project for me, so of course his amazing, and I can't say amazing enough about Tyler, his son. We'll be playing drums on it, and they have some of the. I'm not a Nashville person. I'm not a writers is one thing. I can look up and Google it and say, oh wow, they have those words like Dove awarded awards with their name. The musicians are some pretty top notch. Mark is very excited, which makes me even more excited about the whole thing. So, um, and some of the songs, I swear, if I could write music, these sound like they're written for me. That title track is just sink your teeth into it, and the fact that Mr. Brady's gonna grace me with his presence on some harmony, and rumor has it one Michael Booth is going to be involved. So You know, some of those people that it's too bad I can't find anybody that knows how to sing to be included on my project. So,
Well, Joe, it has been an honor talking to you. Tell our folks how they can book you or purchase the project that we were talking about.
well, that will be hopefully Raymond December 14th, good Lord willing. My website is joerenshawmusic.com, and that's where you can purchase tickets for the two Joes for the price of one show in October. Um, all my YouTube and my social media is all Joe Renshaw Music. Simple, so simple I can even find it. And all that stuff will be available on the website as well as at any of my concerts. All my information is on Facebook. Is the predominant. Not too many people reach out on X to me. Not that it hasn't happened, but Facebook is the medium at this point in time, and how they can get a hold of me.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for coming on, buddy. I appreciate you. You're a great friend, and I look forward to seeing you again sometime soon.
All right, we're ready to head your way anytime you find me someplace to go.
All right. God bless you, brother. Look forward to the next opportunity.
God bless you, Andrew. Take care.
All right. Bye bye.